Welcome to Your Clever Dog Training.
This way. Good girl. Run. Oh, crush. Hello. Come on. Lily. Lily, go. Oh, that's a good puppy. Very good.
Clicker training is a fundamental part of modern reward-based training, and we're going to be using it as a part of all our training sessions. It acts like an interpreter for your dog, telling him when he's done something right, and that a reward in the shape of a piece of food, or a toy, or a game, or some praise is going to be forthcoming. Clicker training is so powerful that many top trainers use it around the world, including people that train zoo animals to have medical treatments, and even animals such as dolphins in aquariums. Clicker training is fast, it's effective, it's fun, and most important of all, it's kind. It also helps to create a great relationship between you and your dog. I get happy when I do clicker training, and I know my dogs do too. The clicker itself is nothing magic. It's just a small plastic box with a strip of metal inside that when you press and release it makes a double click sound. Over time, the clicker starts to have meaning to your dog because it gets paired with food and toys and games. So he starts to predict that the sound of the clicker means you did that right and good things are coming. The clicker is different from a command or a cue. It tells the dog when he's done the right thing, but it doesn't tell him what to do. You still need to do that with a verbal command or a hand signal, for example. Teaching your dog to leave is easy, if you're quick. Every time I see Harley's nose come away from my hand, whether it's by accident or not, I'm going to click and treat. So if I see a little space between my hand that has the food treats in it and his nose, then I click to tell him he's done the right thing. I'm going to ignore the paw for the moment. And you'll notice that his nose is getting further and further away from my hand, voluntarily.
Good boy. Easy down, ball. Very clever.
If your dog backs away from your hand with the food in it, this is a good sign. It means he's trying to resist temptation. The tastier the food and the closer you are to the floor, the more difficult it is for a dog to leave when you ask them to. Leave. So your dog may need a little reminder before moving on with this exercise. However, once they've grasped the basics, you can move on to the advanced lesson. This is with food either on your knee or on the floor. To start off with, you need to guard the food quite carefully and be quick with your reactions, because puppies are often quicker. Leave. As the puppy comes forward to take the food, I just cover it. Nothing he can do now will make me release the food to him, except for backing off. Leave. Leave. That was a good one. You can see how difficult he finds this, but how he's sticking in there and concentrating. It's the backward movements that get the clicks and treats. Very good boy. Excellent boy, good dog. Leave. Although your puppy learns this exercise incredibly quickly, we have to remember that dogs are scavengers. If you leave your Sunday lunch on an accessible table and your dog can get to it, he will eat it, even if you've told him to leave it before you leave the room. Build up this exercise gradually, practice it every day. See how fast your puppy learns and how quickly he could be excellent at this behaviour. Then you've got an exercise that turns into a really useful everyday signal. Don't touch that thing. So how will your dog know what the clicker means? Well, over a number of repetitions, when he hears the click and gets his reward, he'll understand that the click marked the behaviour that was correct. It's a bit like putting a tick next to a correct sum that a child has done at school, or taking a photograph of the behaviour and saying, that's what got you the reward. The clicker is so effective for a number of different reasons. The first is that it's highly accurate. The second is that it's easily transferable across different members of the family. It's also a neutral signal, meaning that it doesn't carry your emotion in it in any way like your voice does. So even if you've had a really bad day, your boss has been horrible to you, the clicker will stay neutral, it stays the same. I think that over a period of time, the clicker actually starts to take the place of food. So although in the beginning stages you will need to use lots of food to reward your dog with the clicker, after a while you'll start to notice that the dog will orient to the clicker itself. In fact, one of my dogs has been known to get the clicker out and click it coming towards me and then wait for his own treat. I have a great interest in human psychology as well as animal behaviour, and I think that clicker training has implications for human emotional states as well as animal emotional states. My dogs get really happy when I do clicker training with them, and I find that I get joyous too. Simply by picking up the clicker and thinking, oh, I'll just do a couple of minutes of training, my emotional state can change completely. I wonder if it's because every time I do clicker training, the positive emotional state gets anchored or tied to the actual use of the clicker. And so that triggers off the emotional state in me that says, you're going to have a good time. However it's working, and no matter what the science is, I think it just makes training an absolute joy.